Okay, I'm on Highway County Road 44A at Ranch Road in Tavares. Not Tavares, Eustis. And actually, I'm not sure if this is actually county land versus city area, but the address is Eustis. And here is the MedMen marijuana facility that's creating lots of noise that's affecting the neighbors and keeping them awake. Just so you can see, they're getting ready to do a lot more development there. They put in big kind of greenhouses or something over there, and it's quite noisy. Well, not right now, which is surprising. So we'll see when I get over and visit the Millers. They're the ones complaining about this. And that's it. Okay, we're looking at the MedMen marijuana processing facility. You can hear the blowers in there, and that's very loud. And that's not actually the loud machinery. That apparently they've turned it off because they found out about this meeting.
Yeah, so everything they've said is they're doing it. He said yes, he saw it. His car was just a little white car.
But you can hear the noise. And then right next door here we have a lot of people who have shown up for a neighborhood discussion.
Yeah. Then he made it here, and Vicky was home, and he talked, and I guess he interviewed Vicky.
Yeah, it was a long time.
Yes, yeah. So you really wouldn't pay attention.
I thought it was.
Right. Yeah. So, but yeah. So he said.
Don't worry about it. Just walk the front.
I know they're the last.
Can I get everybody to move in a little bit where everybody can hear what's being said?
What?
Everybody isn't talking over, you know what I mean? It's like less speak, and then if you have a question or something, you know, we do it like school, raise your hand or something. Just so that we don't over talk and everybody can hear.
Just keep back for more.
I know. Sorry. But if any of you all don't know, this is Leslie. She's our county commissioner. She's been out here and visited the site. They let her on the property and stuff. And I think she's our best help on getting some of this resolved. So, welcome everybody. And I want to get a feel for where everyone lives in relation to the facility. If you kind of, we can sort of go around the circle here and just give me an idea, you know, whether it's next property over or quarter mile or that kind of thing.
So, yeah, Jim Graham, Brett Graham, we live on Arabian Way, which is
Four properties over.
four 10-acre lots over. Five acre lots over. We've got a road, and there's 3 or 4 of us that live up and down that same road.
Okay.
We're just next door to that.
They're over a little bit further.
That's the Ridge.
10 acre on the
10 acre, and then we've got 40 acres after that.
Okay.
The other side of the ridge.
Ranch Road's right there, just a half a mile. And my house is down Danger Lane, and I sit up on it a little bit, so I really didn't want noise.
So you can hear
Oh,
it
I can hear it
outside.
in the evening, and I can hear it in the morning, some of at 6 in the morning feeding up. Definitely, there's no doubt about it. I can hear it coming right through my bedroom. Got appliances going.
That's really loud.
And I realized it's coming from the sound traveling down there.
All short. I live just behind here. Just like 300 feet from the airport.
That's a mile that way?
I'm Tanya. I live a half mile down Ranch Road. Down.
That's probably where she lives.
That's my mom.
All right.
I'm Santoni. We live just down by Bethel, right over there.
I'm Dwayne. This is Carrie. We live right across the road, and we're probably the most affected other than dogs.
I live right behind the fire station.
Rob and Candy were 3 lots down on the other side. And we live right across the street from them, half a mile that way.
Okay. Well, and part of tonight is also about me getting a feel for the different effects on everyone depending on where you're at. I was able to go on the property and take a tour. And we talked about the noise, and we walked all around the perimeter. They informed me that they intended, first of all, to go back a little bit to when the Treadwells had the nursery and they received the permit. And you had to meet certain requirements under Florida law to have been in the business long enough, to be able to qualify. And so they bought the license from the Treadwells, and the Department of Health, I confirmed today that the Department of Health actually oversees that process when they transfer to another entity, and they have to go through a process of showing what their plan is, and they have to convince the Department of Health to allow them to assume that permit. So they did go through that process, and there was some question about whether they had done what they needed to do in order to take it over from the Treadwells, but they did go through that process. Now, they informed me that if they had started this from scratch, if they had built it from the ground up, they would have internalized everything. So the dehumidifiers would have been built into the buildings, and they wouldn't be separate structures or equipment. And so, according to them, because they've got other facilities in the country, they say that their other facilities are all wholly contained, and that this is completely out of the norm for them, and that they're not happy with it either, but it was the only way that they could break into the business here by buying the existing facility. Now, they said that their plan is in the next year to be completely finished with a new facility on the other side, on the 5 acres that they purchased on the other side of this property. And at that time, they will no longer need any of the equipment that we hear right now. So they have put their application into Lake County Building Department. They have to meet building code and fire code. Those are the only rules by state law that they have to comply with local ordinances on. This is according to our best interpretation. I mean, their lawyers certainly say this, but we've done some research at the county to try to determine if there are any other rules we can put in place beyond building code and fire code. And from what we understand, we're fairly limited, because the Florida legislature, when they put all of this in place, the new law, they categorized this entire process as an agricultural use, even though it's clearly not a typical agricultural use. I mean, there's the growing side, and yeah, that's agricultural, but after that, the processing is certainly more of an industrial type nature. Now, we know that there are other farm products too that involve processing, and they basically say, they're going to treat them no different than they would in agricultural use. So that is where we run into some problems as far as adding additional restrictions, because there is the Right to Farm Act, which basically says that depending on the certain date when somebody's at a particular location and there's an existing farm use, you are not allowed to change the rules on farming operations. And from what we can tell, and we did a check around the immediate perimeter of the property to see if anyone was here predating, and I want to say it was like 1980. Something like that. It was right around then, early 80s. So if you were homesteaded and you maintained homestead on your property, you could qualify as someone that wouldn't be subject to the Right to Farm Act restrictions. But we don't think we have anybody that would apply to. So that brings us to where we're at now. We have a noise ordinance in Lake County, but it's a very nebulous noise ordinance. We don't use readers like decibel readers. It's basically a reasonable person test, and it really comes up mainly like in barking dog situations, or there was somebody in Sorrento a couple years ago that had a parrot, and the parrot talked all day long and drove the neighbor next door crazy. Sometimes it comes up with industrial type uses. We've got something like that going on in Leesburg right now, where they Leesburg allowed a neighborhood to be built right next to an industrial park that was in the county, and we're running into all kinds of problems. But we're considering that maybe we're going to beef up our noise ordinance in the future. It will require the county to hire some people that are experts and get some equipment and all of that. So we're looking at that as a possibility, and that could possibly be in a situation like this if we did have a decibel reading that we could use to say, okay, you've gone over that. That might give us some sort of a tool to try to prevent noise from impacting neighbors. But we don't have that right now, and we're not certain that we would, based on the decibel readings that are kind of the standard in the industry, we're not sure if we would hit it here. I mean, we think some days it does, and sometimes it has gone over some pretty high levels. But other things that we've considered is, could we change our rules across the board that apply to agricultural uses if the agricultural use involves a certain amount of processing? And maybe we could add some things like buffers and requirements for lights to stay on the property and not to spill over onto surrounding properties. So that's what we're in the process of trying to put together, and then we will have to take it through a couple readings, a workshop, a couple readings, and then it would go into place if we don't get too much pushback from farmers in general who want to make sure that we're not impeding on their activities. But then you run into the problem of when you put new regulations in place and there's an existing business or use, they tend to have pretty good legal grounds to say that those new rules wouldn't apply to them. It would only apply to new people. Yeah. But at least it would give us some way to help other people in the county that are in agricultural areas if we have more of these come along. I think that they're feeling the pressure of all of the media attention, the fact that all of this has been brought to the attention of the county commission, and I think they're. My impression is they don't like having the negative attention. They would like that to go away, and I try to be as objective as possible in talking to them and listening to them to see, is there really, are they really legitimately trying to correct things? They're not going to stop their business, I can tell you right now. They're not going to do anything to stop the production of what they're doing over there, because has anybody been on the site and seen how everything, it's once you get past the greenhouses and you get into the laboratories, it's absolutely amazing. It is high tech. It's you feel like you're going into some sort of nuclear zone, and it's just like really, really. They're very particular. Everything has to be sterile, and it's there's a lot of money invested in it, and they're obviously making it.
You said there are other plants that these machines were encompassed in the whole plant. Why can't they
completely build over it? Well, I think what they're looking at is they're going to be making a substantial investment in their new building, and they intend to abandon those and resell them or use them someplace else. But I was told today, because I asked a second time, can you please confirm that you will completely abandon the existing equipment once you build your new facility? And they said that they would not have a use for them anymore. Do you honestly think they're going to give that kind of money away?
Did you get that in writing?
They're probably going to try to sell them. They'll probably, they'll. In fact, they might have gotten some of their parts and things from other facilities that were used. Yes.
I just have questions because I'm hearing different stories. Apparently Bob, the plant manager, went next door and talked to my neighbor, the second house on Leslie Lane, and he told her they had no plans. This was after I had read your email saying they were going to build. He told her they had no plans to build on that other 5 acres, anything but a parking lot. So what concerns me is that he told you one thing, told her something different, and you're saying that if you get the rules changed, they can say this is grandfathered in. The same thing will happen if they build something over there and it's not what they've told you they're going to build. Once it's built, it's too late. And another point, they said if they had built from scratch, they did build from scratch. All of that is brand new. That is not what Treadwell had there. They could have started.
The greenhouses, the greenhouse.
No,
ma'am.
Everything is brand new.
Those are all less than a year old.
new.
Everything there is brand new.
Everything you're looking at is brand new within the past year and a
The
half.
one building over there is not brand new. They went and redone it, Glendale.
Yeah.
He went and redone that building.
Right.
Because I went to visit it when it was Treadwell's before they had.
And he put up these 2 buildings here. Glenn put up those 2 buildings. He didn't put those 2 buildings up. Glenn put them up.
Okay.
He
The
did.
concrete one.
Yeah.
Because I remember when it was all just the wooden one.
He put it all up, but then they bought it right. He didn't have
That
this
one
one
wasn't even
done,
done.
and they finished this one.
Okay. All
Right,
right,
so
then
they
my
could have put
timeline
their
was
stuff
messed up.
inside.
Yeah.
They took the whole top off of this one right here and had cranes and set stuff inside it and then put the top back on it.
Yeah. They came. Well, they actually came and put the top on the building, and then a week or 2 later, took the top off and then put those things in there, which didn't make no sense to me why they would do that. But that's not my business. So, I don't know. My main concern is the noise. I just don't see that why I don't have any damn right to not have this noise in my damn yard. I don't see why I don't have the right to be here. I should have the right to have peace in my own home.
When Glenn Treadwell could grow marijuana without the noise, why can't
And they did too. They grow the marijuana without the noise.
That's what I'm saying. Will you listen to what I said?
What?
And that's the way this all happened till the last couple months. So everything was fine till then. So they added this machinery. And I want to tell you guys, the little silencers they were ordered from Turkey. Those people aren't getting rid of that stuff. I'm telling you. It's too costly. They would be idiots to dump that. And I don't believe that's going to be a parking lot next door to you.
You can actually,
You told her different.
if you look across the building and you see those silver-looking things over across the top of that house, that's the top of those silencers. So that crap's blowing straight up in the damn air. And where's it coming? Straight over here when the wind's blowing.
Or even when it ain't blowing,
And
it
it's
be
going the
air.
other way. But see how high it is?
Yeah.
That's high. They could put up a 20-foot wall and it still ain't gonna block the
I have
noise.
another question. There are 2 big nurseries right here on 437. John's Nursery and Windy Hill. Both of those, when their trucks come, they go completely onto the property, turn around, do whatever they're doing, and leave. These people should be required by law to have their trucks turn around on their property. What they're doing now is driving down Ranch Road, backing across Ranch Road. I heard the truck this afternoon beeping at cars to stop so that he could back all the way across Ranch Road.
Oh, yeah. Which aren't really even allowed on the road.
I heard that too. I didn't know what it was, but I heard the noise. Yeah.
That should be right there, some kind of...
And it happens while the kids are out there waiting for their school bus.
Well, that was already taken care of.
Yep.
They did use the bridge out here, right on 44A, and I know the person who contacted the Florida police, and they put an end to that right away. All the way up 44A on this side.
And I asked them about semi-trucks, so whether that was a regular thing that would be an ongoing thing. They claimed that a lot of the semi-trucks brought equipment in, like some of the stuff that we're talking about right now. They say that when they take things away from the site, that they're on relatively small vehicles. I don't know if you've seen these types of little vans that go out. That are,
I don't see that part because she just finished some semis today.
We were about 12:30, 1 o'clock. There was a semi sitting in, and it pulled out as we were at the mailbox getting mail. We went home. We're home 10 minutes tops. Come back out, and there was a FedEx semi that had already backed in that 10 minutes time.
Okay.
Also, that is a school bus stop. Parents do not want the school bus stop moved. They want the trucks, something done with the trucks, because there are little kids that are on this side of the road and that side of the road, and it's just dangerous. Yeah.
Well, and actually, I think, of all the issues, this is the one issue that we might actually have the best success at doing something about.
The other issue that's a problem on people that live on Ranch Road, and maybe possibly other places, I think them, is the lights that they put in this parking lot. Why they put lights facing the highway and then put lights facing them, I don't know. Her husband leaves about 5 in the morning. He said he's almost run that stop sign twice because the lights are so bad. Show you that phone? That the lights are so bad that they blind you and you don't realize.
I'm going to tell you now, I saw it all over that stop sign because you can't see it. Somebody hits it, hurts it, they ain't going to have to worry about it. They're not going to have to worry about it. I won't let you do it.
Well, you know, school, not at this time, but later, at 6 o'clock and 6:30 in the morning, the school buses are coming. And I know semis aren't there, but the lights are there, and kids are trying to get on the bus.
See.
It's
like stadium light, you can't see.
Yeah, it's terrible.
But they own the property next to this property, so why can they not make an entrance way to come in on that other 5 acres?
Stop sign.
Loop around. I've been all over that property. It's fantastic. Loop around and come through the back side and pull straight out. That way they don't have to get on Ranch Road.
And that is one of the things that we were talking about for adding provisions to agricultural uses and farming and so forth, to have some requirements about truck traffic and improvements that they would need to make that would facilitate the trucks being on their property. So I think that is one that we can definitely work with. And even, right now we know that they've apparently submitted their plans for that building. So if it's building code stuff, we're going to be able to see whether they've got their dehumidifiers and their equipment internal. So that's something that we can take a look at and ascertain whether, in fact, that's how they've got this planned.
Are those plans available to us to look at?
I'm not positive if they are, or if they're considered to be public records or not.
Plans are public records. Yes.
But we have to go down to Lake County and request a copy.
Yes.
Yeah, but you can. I'm going to ask for a copy so we can figure out whether the things that they're saying are in fact shown on those plans. So I can share them.
So let's say these.
You've been over there, you visited with them, you talked to them, but everything you said is they say they are going to do this, they say they're going to do that. Where's the proof?
Yeah, I can't. I don't have any proof, just like you don't have any proof.
Right.
I'm only trying to.
And we appreciate it.
Yeah, I wish I could just make it all better, but we're trying to methodically go through this to see is there something that we can do locally without getting into a situation where the county gets sued. And we pretty much determined at this point that if we put these new rules in place, we probably will get challenged, but if we lose, then we just have to change them. Usually on regulations, the court will send it back to the commission and say, hey, you can't do this, and then you need to fix it. So as opposed
to... Well, that's what they did.
But essentially that's what they've already done, and it was passed. And that's one of my concerns.
Yeah.
Because when Treadwell had this, it was nowhere near what this was. It went to Lake County. Lake County approved
Well, we didn't
the
approve
additional
anything.
buildings.
No. All we approved was building. We had to approve according to building code and fire, and that's it. We didn't have any.
See the plan.
There's no site plan requirement in the code, in the provisions from the state. So it's not that Lake County like rubber stamped it. We only were able to look at the things that we were allowed to look at. So
The first building permit was permitted after the fact. So it was constructed and then permitted.
Well,
that's the way I read the permit.
They can do certain things that other businesses can't do, but then the state added the requirement that for these medical facilities that they have to go through the building code and the fire code requirements. So I don't know if that was what you're referring to as the after the fact, or if they built something after they became a medical marijuana producer.
No, I mean, in the permit itself, it states in the last pages, permitted after the fact, about 5 or 6 different lines of things that were permitted after the fact.
And again, but that could have been, I don't know, without researching it, I don't know, that could have been because the state said to have a medical marijuana facility, you had to pass these certain code provisions, and therefore they took an agricultural use that didn't need permits, and then they had to permit it after the fact. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it might not have been that they did something wrong and then they were fixing it with an after, which is usually what happens when people do after the fact. But I think in this case it could have just been that the rules got changed and then they had to go back in and permit.
Okay. My thing is, they told you that this is no louder than the fans that they had running over there before. Okay? They told you that.
They
right?
did tell me that. They said this is no different than
Is that a
fans.
bald-faced lie, or is that a bald-faced lie? I mean, none of these people could hear this stuff before. I couldn't hear it before, So I don't trust what they say to start with, period. They told me they're going to build a facility over there.
And for them that Bob just told Dave Dornweed, I think it was last week or whatever, that's just going to be a parking lot. So that's a lie within a week. So that he's just appeasing the neighbors at the time.
Yeah. He told my neighbor Kirsten that he was going to fix the light. She had him over at her house at 6 a.m. and took him into her kitchen and said, look out my windows and look at the lights. And he went, oh, wow, that's really bad. I'll get that fixed immediately. And the 5 acres, which is closer to our house, he told her it was only going to be a parking lot. I have it in a text from her to me saying this is what he told her that day within an hour of him leaving. And that has been 2 weeks ago. Nothing has been done about the lights whatsoever. And I already, when she sent me that text, I went back and reread the email that you sent me saying that he told you he was going to build a contained facility. And I was like, wait, what? That's two different stories.
That's what I'm saying. It's too close. It's not like that happened a month ago, and now they're planning
Exactly.
to change. So he's lying to the neighbors at the time just to appease them.
Yeah, yeah.
Just like they told us, oh, don't worry, we're going to get that noise down. I'm going to tell you, if it's 5 decibels difference, it wasn't worth their money they spent on that shit. I can tell you right now.
I just have a question on the fact that, okay, they're purchasing that 5 acres. From what I understand, they're looking at land behind them. And I know they have to buy land that's attached to keep it. So are we going to end up becoming a really big industrial with a lot more noise, even though they say that they're not going to have that? I live a half a mile down Ranch Road, and you can hear it at night and early in the morning. Now, with the traffic and stuff that during the day, cars running, you don't hear it. But we moved here in 1980. The only reason we bought in Lake County was it was a nice, quiet county. Ended up buying land back here off of Ranch Road. Nice, quiet. We were actually only 3 families at that time that lived on Ranch Road. And very quiet. Now there's a lot more families that live on Ranch Road. But it's just the fact that we moved in the area for the quietness, the nice country. I'm not against nurseries, and I'm not against medical marijuana. because but I'm against Lake County allowing industrial to move into what I call residential, even though we may own 50 acres or 20 acres or 10 or 5. We're still residential as far as we're concerned. We're zoned agricultural to be able to do a nursery or to be able to have livestock and stuff like that. We're not zoned agricultural to put a plant in that processes stuff. I'm just totally against it. But I do also know, before you say anything else, I do know that I just read a big article on it, that Tallahassee, I blame Tallahassee for the whole thing. Because if we were going to ask the people, do you want medical marijuana, we should have already thought the whole thing out. And I blame Tallahassee for not thinking it out. Where can they put these plants? Should they be on a 50-acre lot? Should they be,
Well, and that's where we're at now.
Yeah.
I want to make something very clear, because you said Lake County allowed it to happen, or is Lake County going to allow these industrial things to happen in the country? And to a large degree, our hands are tied because of the way that it was passed by the legislature. But it doesn't mean that we're not willing to try to add some more rules that if you hit a certain level of processing of your agricultural product, that you would have to have a certain size property, certain buffers, all these things that we're talking about that would limit these things from being in basically residential areas. So unfortunately, I don't know if we can fix this with those new rules. But when you ask about them buying more land and more land, well, I saw a picture of their facility in, I think, Arizona. It's huge.
Yep.
It's huge. So I don't doubt that their long-range plan is to buy more and keep growing.
My problem is, I don't know about everybody, but we worked our butts off for what we've got out here,
And who's going to buy it?
Exactly.
29 years we lived here. My place is debt-free, and now I'm stuck with this. They're my only option, is what they want to give me for my property. So I feel like I'm being held hostage to them.
And keep until they're right on.
Well, let me answer that question for you about the getting bigger. I know for a fact that they have contacted the other guy on the other side of them with 5 acres. They had it bought, they thought. And the guy found out what they paid for the other 5 acres and he backed out. They wasn't giving them nothing compared to what they did out. They're in the process of buying the 10 acres behind, right up there. The girl up there, her mother's definitely ill, about to pass away. She told me, they're probably going to sell it. They tried to buy these 10 acres here, and they tried to buy my property here. And I'm sure that once they got the 5 acres over there, they'd be going on that way. So yes, they're going to get bigger, it's going to get bigger, and it's going to get more noisier, it's going to get more traffic, and it's going to get more every damn thing,
Along those lines, can I ask, is there something that we can do, that the county can do, or we as the people can do, to stop their expansion until a study has been done or something? Because if the county is able to stop them from expanding, and then they find out they can't expand here, maybe they'll just abandon this place and go somewhere out where there are no neighbors. If we allow that 5 acres next door to be built, it's going to be a rolling stone that is not going to be able to be stopped. What can we do to tie their hands until we can get some legal action?
I don't have an answer. I mean, I initially, I think some of you, I called and I said, hire a lawyer. I was like, somebody needs to advocate.
You and I both know that company can bankrupt every one of us. They can keep everything I've worked for. I'm not giving to these damn people. I may have to live with their effing noise, but I'm not going to make it where I'm on the damn street because of them. But that's what would happen if we got a lawyer. They would keep it drawn out. Exactly. We're no match for them.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I could think of would be a nuisance suit. know, where they had to pay damages. But you're right, from the standpoint of
they wouldn't
want a precedent of losing that case, and so they would fight it really, really hard. So I think we're back to, okay, one idea we had was we seek a declaratory judgment from the court, asking the court, how much can we regulate? But here's the state law, here's what it says, you know, that we're allowed to do and not do. We want to add these rules, we want to, you know, put some additional requirements in place, ask the court whether that's legal or not. Okay, that's one avenue. And that's kind of, I mean, that's sort of going on the offensive, you know, from that standpoint. The other way is put new rules in place and spell out even an expansion of an existing facility would be subject to these rules. Put it in place, and then you just wait and you see whether you get challenged. And more than likely you'll get challenged.
Yeah, you'll get challenged.
And we'll defend it in court. We'll see where the court rules. But I think that's from the standpoint of the county government trying to help. I think that at this point, that's the most that we could do. We just have to decide which strategy is the best, and we're leaning towards put the rules in place. Because at the very least, if we get the rules in place, then hopefully we can prevent other ones from coming up in other places.
How long does it take to put the rules in place? Would it be quick enough to stop that being built in a year?
Well, they have, you know, we know they've got an application in, but they only have an application in, like, basically for the building as opposed to a site plan. So our rule says you also have a site plan to address trucks and all of that. I think that should still, I mean, I think that we can attempt to make that apply. So it will take us, you know, it'll take us probably 2 months.
Okay.
And is there a way to make sure that the building department does not permit anything that says industrial or hints at factory?
How can we define?
That's
who
what I
can we
want to
define
define.
that's industrial?
Because that's against an agricultural definition of agricultural zoning by Lake County. Lake County's definition prohibits industrial
But the
use.
state calls it, but they're doing agricultural. That's the rub. But the state has decided that the whole process.
The concept is agricultural.
What they're doing, that's manufacturing.
But the state has decided that medical marijuana production is an agricultural use from start to finish. So we would have to get the state law changed. And
no, you don't.
They're processing.
No, you don't.
It's becoming a processing plant,
I
not agriculture.
Well,
What she's trying to say is the state's already allowed them to do that.
the state has already deemed that to be an agricultural use, even though we all know that it is processing, it is industrial in nature. We all know that, but that's not what the state did. So for the state to then go back and change it, you know, they probably, if they would, if we could get the support to do it, they would probably have to grandfather the ones that are already in.
Regardless.
Show me or publish something or send an email out where all that legislation is.
Yes.
And I'd like to read it.
Yes.
Just a perfect example from that, you're going with it on the thread. North Carolina, they have marijuana plants. They grow the marijuana. They don't hear the plants growing.
The lady goes, "What are you talking about? The noise?" She asked me, "What are you talking about?"
Did I take it somewhere else?
No, they had
And
another plant in North Carolina.
They ship their already grown plants off somewhere else to be processed. That's where the discrepancy is coming
made
through.
a law that said you must do it all in the same place. That's what the law says. They are not allowed to ship it anywhere else. They must, when it leaves the site, it has to be in the form of the medicine.
Is their product leave the state of Florida, or does it have to stay in the state
I
of
think
Florida?
it has to stay, but I'm not positive.
So are these fans part of the growing? Or the
Yes, they are the growing. I mean, all of that is the growing, and when you walk in there, it's cold. It's cold and it's strong. It's like very potent.
They also told me that you're not going to smell it. Well, I'm telling you, you smell
I
it.
smelled it Saturday morning.
Oh yeah, it was strong, wasn't it?
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
But they also my thing is that the state has told me, the director of the Department of Health has told me that the county does have the right to make an amendment to stop this noise. They told me that several times, and they told other people that.
Well, we've actually had conversations with that person. So I'm not, I don't know if I'm not quite sure what's happening in the translation there. You know, if they're saying, we're trying to get that like in an actual written form where they give us that sort of authority so that when we do proceed that we've got that in our court.
But also, this is the director of the operations of the marijuana. Now this lady, if she don't know what she's talking about, she sure should know what she's talking about.
You would think so.
That's the same lady that I talked to and asked for it in writing, and they said they would get back to me on that. It's quite different to tell somebody something.
In the process.
Check from the mail, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I see where you stand. You can't do anything until you have it in writing.
We're trying to get that. We're trying to get at least something where they commit to a position as far as how far we can go with our own rules.
I mean, I would like it, but it would be nice if they shut it off at 8 o'clock at night or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you'd have to hear it 24 hours a day.
Oh, that was the other thing. Did you notice that they have these little shades that they push a button, and at nighttime it goes over because they don't want it to get any moonlight or any light from any source because they need the plants to sleep.
So we need scientists to prove that the noise is a detriment to the plants.
Right, Randy has
There you go.
Okay,
Randy with the hat.
I was just, when you said being they have this, they can do a processing and they can process the plants and stuff like
They're
that.
required to process. They are not allowed to take those plants or anything off that property unless it's a finished product.
Okay, well, let me ask you another question. I raise cows, I raise hogs. So based on what you're just telling me, I can process them on my property.
We're only talking about the medical
Yeah.
marijuana. We're not talking about cows. We're not talking about.
But you're zoned agriculture also, so we are too, so we should be able to do whatever we want because it's exactly what they're allowing. They
They got the law in their favor.
But still, if they're agriculture, why can't we? If we're agriculture, why can't we do what we want?
Okay.
No.
And you're limited on how many animals you can have in your
What
agriculture.
time is the noise ordinance out here?
Or do that.
There's not
Well, normal for
For a
everybody else.
normal, like a guy mowing his lawn at midnight.
Oh, well, let's see.
10 o'clock.
Usually it's 10.
Maybe 10
I
o'clock.
called the sheriff's department and the lady that answered the phone couldn't tell me.
Yeah, I see.
Because I can't go to sleep.
Everybody could mow their yard at midnight out here because it's no louder than
The
that.
only idiot out there on the mower.
No, it says I can vouch for that.
He hasn't lately, but yes.
Midnight, he's on his lawnmower.
We had a noise case once with a kid that would get on his ATV. He'd come home from school and he'd get on this ATV and he'd just ride it all the way, just the perimeter of the property, just driving everybody crazy all around. And they couldn't do anything about it until it hit a certain time. And then finally they moved. And that was, we could never get it, we could never stop it.
That's why I was wondering what if they had a noise ordinance out here. I mean,
Yeah, there's one.
There is, but it's based on a reasonable person test, and I think most reasonable people after 10 o'clock at night don't,
So during the day you can do whatever.
Yes, and you can
because
do it on the weekend.
I don't know what machinery that.
That's what in the meeting is one.
Yeah,
person,
the engine shop.
What's that?
It's one person decides whether it's too loud.
It is,
Yeah,
but
yeah, that's why I was
tend
asking
to
what's the
bring
time.
other code officers in so that it's not really just one person. I mean, if it's something where they're like, I'm not sure where to go on this one, they'll bring other people in, and a lot of times they'll bring the attorney in just to get different opinions on whether
So
they
if
think
everybody called and complained about a loud noise that's going on at midnight, would they come out eventually at midnight to see what the noise was?
Yeah, you would. If there was a loud noise at midnight,
just inundate. Because this is a
Well,
lot
this
louder
is all
at
night
night.
long.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and they turn it up, I swear, at night because they can hear it.
All the other noise quit, so it's
Even
loud.
if we've said
It's
here,
loud.
as we've said here, you've heard the machines go up and they go down. It's all about the humidity is how they run. So like this morning, they weren't very. I could hear it because it's in my backyard, but it was not full blown because it was cool. We had that rain, and the sun hadn't picked up yet.
But when the middle of July, when it's 100%
you better
humidity,
believe it's gonna be.
it's going to be.
So
Well,
we all
they're
got
going to be
phone calls.
required to wear hearing.
I mean, yeah, I can hear it.
Oh,
half mile down the road at
that's what
5:30
we've been
half
told.
mile.
If you don't like it, we're here. Things in your ear.
Yeah, but
They
I mean,
actually said that? Did somebody say that to you?
Is that what they told you over there, Ted?
Them? No, they didn't tell me that. No. I'd have punched them in the face.
But what is so bad is Bob and the engineer came over here that next morning that they cranked that crap up and sat here and told my husband that is loud and that is unacceptable.
They did.
Wait, who said that? Bob and the engineer.
Came over
Did
here.
you film that?
Told me
No, we
that's
didn't
awful
know
loud.
where this
we
was
had to talk about
going.
that. You know.
My husband used to mow for them over there. He knew those guys. I can tell you that stopped really quick. They don't want him over there now, but what I'm saying, we were very casual neighbors, whatever, you know, and that's when Ted had a problem with the noise. That's why he called him immediately the next morning and said, you know, what's going on here? Because he actually thought somebody was stealing our tractor during the night.
I did the first night.
He's
that I
out
heard
there like,
it,
what
I
are you
woke up.
doing? And he said, I think somebody's stealing my
I
tractor.
got my gun and come
And it
outside. I
was-
thought somebody stole my tractor.
And it was that noise. They had cranked it up.
And then, I don't know if Ted said anything, but the cameras, if the...
They tell me I can't do nothing about it.
Why? That's an invasion of privacy, isn't it?
Not if they're on their property.
Well, I told Ted, put a pole up. We'll bring the tractor over. We got some telephone poles, and then put you a piece of board right there in front of the camera.
I mean, they shouldn't be able to put the cameras where
It's on your
possibly
property, that
facing
board,
their
not
property.
the pole.
Yeah.
Another thing too, and I know you gonna tell me you don't know if it's over there probably. See that fence? That fence is right on the property line, which I don't care. It's right on the property line. But you see that barbed wire on top of it? That's hanging over my property. Okay? And I done told them. And I ain't got around to it yet, but I'll take my damn tractor over and I'll tear that shit down on my property. It's on my property, and I don't give a damn.
Well, you have small
It should be going
children.
the other way.
I'll tear that barbed wire off.
That's
there on
another
my
thing,
property.
because isn't there, now I'm not sure, but I thought there was some kind of law about barbed wire, and you know, because you've got kids, you know, like I couldn't put that type of fence up around my house, around my property.
But I think that the barbed wire, the way that the specification for how they do that is
Lucky
actually
it ain't razor wire.
dictated by the state.
It
And
was required by the state
and
because
it's-
we had we called it our family gate. That Glenn, you know, we've had there for years.
Right.
We had a gate right there with our fence. My kids walked through their property to go to the bus stop for years.
Right.
And they said they were sorry, but the state says that they had to put that fence up. And I laughed out. It has to do not go, you know, whatever, their fence,
And
you
they
know.
did. That was one of the qualifications. So I did read up on all that they had to put it. But my question is then, like he says, the fence is on the property line, but the fence overhangs. It's just like the tree overhangs
I can
on
cut
your
it.
property. You can cut it because it's on your property.
Damn right.
So the thing about it is maybe they're going to have to move their fence back 2 or 3 feet so that the park...
The guy did bring it up. Well, that was when, you know, Glenn and Sharon did it. Yeah, they did it, and we weren't having to hear their noise, and we didn't care at the time. It wasn't an issue. But right now, anything is an issue because they don't care about us listening to this.
Yeah, I think you might have something there.
Oh, I know I got something there because I know I do tree trimming, and I can trim a tree. If the property line's right here, I can cut that tree limb right there.
Right.
Ain't nothing that person can do about it. And I get them all the time pissed off about it because, you know.
And that's true.
And I said, you know, really and truly, you should let me cut the limb back to your tree where it don't look so stupid. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's the law.
Yeah.
The lights, is that something that
Well,
we
they
will
did-
be able to get?
Well, the way they are now, and I mean, they did send somebody out, the county did, and they felt like, I mean, we don't have a night sky lighting rule for this particular use or for agricultural uses, but again, that's something that we would put in our new
And they said that they are in the scope
No
on
rule,
the
Lake County.
lights.
Yeah, well, they actually do have some sort of a meter that they use.
Yeah, she had a meter. We didn't follow her out to see how the meter worked or anything. We didn't do anything like that, but
But if it's a danger, like the cars being
Well, that's
blinded?
that's different, I think. That if it's a danger issue, if it's actually interfering
She
with...
has a picture on her phone.
Did I get that?
Yeah, I sent it to your
And that's where the...
My husband was coming from Ranch Road.
Yeah, right across home.
Onto 44A.
Coming to the stop sign.
Okay.
That's what he saw. And he leaves at like sometimes 3 o'clock in the morning, sometimes 6. Our neighbor next door also said that he's almost missed it a couple times because the
He
lights
leaves
are so
about
bright.
5.
That might be something.
It's with the, the morning dew, the fog, you can't hardly see the stop sign from the lights.
Oh, it's horrible at my house.
How about the mental health
Shoot 'em
aspect
out.
of this? Loud continuous noise can
BB
affect
gun will do
someone's
it.
mental health.
Right.
Has the health department checked that? I mean, they had to go and get some kind of a permit there. Not there if you hear that all. I mean
that's not
we've
even
used that in the
loud enough to annoy
military
me.
to psych somebody out, so they should explore that part maybe. Mental health. And I think that's affecting some people.
It sure has
around here.
affected mine.
Me
Affected
and
him.
him both are on blood pressure medication.
It makes you angry.
And our doctor, no
It
more
might
lie.
Well, for the health
Maybe somebody ought to explore that route.
Well, I mean, I think what you say is completely legitimate. I just don't know how you get it.
What about the health department?
Well, the health department...
You've got a small problem here now, but it's going to get bigger.
I mean, bringing it up more at a...
It isn't. You're right. Good point. I can see it escalating.
Well, and I've got a question on that. Would the county buy any of this property for us, for the community out here?
Make it a skate park.
Buffer around.
To keep them from buying anything else? Make
Why
it an
can't they put a
equestrian
wall up like they
center
do
or
around the
something.
turnpike? Seriously.
Well, I did ask about that. I said, why don't you put a very tall sound barrier? And I think...
They did, right there. Yeah, that wouldn't fit. Yeah. Right?
But I think that walls can be effective if they're tall enough.
It'd have to be tall. But the reason they put up that wall was to keep the media from shining in there.
Yeah.
Seeing this
Yeah.
stuff. I mean, come on.
And Ted dumping stock posts right there at their thing when the guys are trying to work.
Well, by the way, you can accidentally hit the fence as you're dumping your compost or coming back up with the bucket.
I mean, it would be great if there was some private person out there that, would form a blind trust and go and buy a buffer so you couldn't expand, but that would take a lot of money to do.
Also, the impact of
They grow heroin.
about 30 more acres.
Poppies.
And now they're going to have 120 people, cars, coming in and out of here.
Yeah.
And then another 20 acres, that's 500 people, cars going up and down, and I just...
Are they going to pay for
They
the
already
roads to
are
be
because they
rebuilt?
have that other 5 acres right now to keep the semis from backing up. Why don't they make an entrance over there so the semis can come in that way and not cause a problem out there? I mean, that's common sense. Right?
And they were parking over there for a while.
They were.
What about, Leslie, what about a turn lane? Could they be forced to put a turn lane in out there?
Well, I think that's one of the things that we would put in the ordinance, that they would have, that any use that has a certain amount of traffic would trip a threshold and have to have a turn lane. Yeah.
You said a blind easement. There's actually a road back there. It's a county road. It's named.
That's another thing too.
Better not get close without me being notified. Better have something better come in my mailbox.
Well, it's got to be on the newspaper for a certain amount of time. I'm not sure which newspaper it's got to be in. Probably the
But I thought it had to be posted.
It has to be posted. They have to post the adjoining
so many feet.
But, I mean, that road, would that be a divider?
Yes, it's a divider. It's
Where's
an
it
easement.
at?
It's right there.
Right there where you run.
It's an easement goes all the way down there to the pine trees down there on that other side.
Wait, it goes this
Yeah,
way?
it goes all the way to Arabian
So if
Way.
they buy that 10 acres there, they would have to cross that road to build on it, which is against,
You can't do it without closing that road. And as long as those people on the other end of that road don't sell to them and won't let them close it, they should be able to close it.
Yeah, it's just a public road.
But
You can only
you got
vacate them.
money. Money gets a lot of stuff done.
Yeah, but you can only vacate them if it's a public purpose, And it would seem like that would be really hard. That could at least prevent it from growing out.
your question. Yeah.
It will until they get a vote.
Yeah, we didn't have it. Somehow it got cut off. Can't get it. Yes, because okay, that's it. That's what we have to do. The only way to get rid of them is with the person.
So then my thing is, do they have any idea what's going on? Because they're the ones that's going to get affected too. Because cross-tied backs right up.
What the girl told me up there, I've actually looked into it as a county record, is that road goes all the way down past the other 5 acres they were trying to buy. Okay? And then that girl's trying to tell me that it stops at their gate, but that's not the county record that shows what's going on through there. So if they buy their property up there, they ain't gonna be able to use it until they get their road shut.
Well, they could probably store their stuff on it, but they couldn't grow marijuana, right?
I would think it could actually be part of
The growing process.
We'd have to check to see what the state says, but
They
And
don't
nothing
buy
else,
it, waste their money
that
on
woman
it.
would sell us her fenced area. That she would sell us her fenced area.
We can buy the area where the road is and open that road back up and stop them from
Can't hear you.
Because I do know enough, because once she's got that fence up and nobody said anything to her about blocking it off.
But it's not got a gate or nothing on it, so you can't. It's not blocked off. You can go drive through it right now.
You can open that gate and drive right through it.
Yeah, there's not no gate there anyway. I mean, there's no gate closed there. It's open.
I was wondering how they can block that road.
But she says that stops at the gate, but
No, it doesn't. It goes all the way. I mean, if you look on Google Maps, it goes from Arabian Way all the way down through here.
You can't rely on Google Maps.
Yeah, I pulled up the GIS and I sent it to you.
Look on the property
Off Lake County site.
Well, it is. I think it is.
Right at that pine tree down there.
From the Savannah.
not at her gate.
Right, but it doesn't follow through like this time.
Yeah, I had heard before that it don't go all the way through the Arabian Way, but it stops at those pine trees down there. What it shows on Lake County.
GIS Lake County's website is it
It's where the
stops.
pine trees start or all the way through. Because it,
When we had that lawsuit with because he was saying we should use. Remember when he told us we need to use Magnolia to get out of our property?
I'm gonna
Does it
back and actually
stop at
see
the
what
pine trees?
is there. We'll just have to get it.
That's very
Either way.
important.
But even if it does,
Chestnuts. That's Richmond.
Oh, this
And that works?
No, this is our church. We're having the Easter thing at Renegers. We're giving away free barbecue. We're dropping 15,000 eggs out of a helicopter.
Over there?
Renegers.
Yeah. That is cool.
You can have it.
Thank you. That is awesome. Of course, all my kids are somewhere else, but
that would be right there. They wouldn't be able to do something.
that's awesome.
I'm cooking 1,500
You hear
pounds
what
of
Leslie's
pulled
saying?
pork for that.
You guys, she's saying that whenever she has the meeting and they're trying to impose this stuff, in other words, you guys need to show up at the meeting and let them know that they have your support. Trying to fix this stuff, fix what they can.
And to take a look at what we propose, so that if you think that we're hitting the important things, if we're missing something, let us know. But giving us your input and then giving us your support when we actually go to, vote on it, because it's not just my vote. It takes 3 out of 5.
So do we need to be contacting the other commissioners also when there's an issue? Because I thought you were for our area. That's why we are contacting you. So
Contact
maybe
all of them.
that's bad on our part.
Well, it's good to have
Dartboard approach.
direct
Let's
contact
go
with
to all
the
of them.
commissioners
Yeah,
in the
that's
district,
dartboard
but it's
approach.
also
They get 'em all.
important for the other commissioners to know what's happening. Because if they don't, then when we bring these
So
rules up and
respect
we
her
try to get
viewpoint,
these
but
passed
you
through,
gotta
they understand how
educate them.
important
Oh, we got that,
it
yes.
is. And they've heard when you come to meetings, and they've heard that. But I think going ahead and hitting all 5 commissioners' email addresses.
Not just hers. We need to start hitting all of them.
Yeah, ask them see if you can get them to come out, so that I think it would be important for them to come out and hear it.
Or would they hold a special meeting so that people at night, where people that are working,
Workshop.
I miss work every time that I've gone. I've missed work, those couple hours or whatever, to go. But a lot of people just can't do that. And so it's not that they don't care; they're just not able to leave their jobs.
Well, I think the emails are really effective. If you don't make it too long, but put your points in there. Let the other commissioners know. And I'm not sure. Usually when we do our regulations, we could have one meeting after 5, so we could ask for that if you think it would make a big difference as far as people being
You
there.
guys go if they have a meeting after 5. Y'all try to attend.
Now, I do have to tell you that one of the things that's really important to understand is we put these regulations in place. We cannot say in the regulations that we're doing them just for medical marijuana production facilities. We have to say that we're doing them for agricultural uses that include a level of processing or production, so that we're encompassing, any other uses that might create
county or
noise,
state
might
permitted,
create.
this is the rules.
What's that?
Said county or state permitted, these are the rules that we're going to have to follow.
Yeah, and they would apply to anybody that's doing an ag use that also involves a certain level of
industry
processing in industry.
But doesn't medical marijuana, I know it takes a while to get that permits, get that passed. Does it fall under any other? Because it's not exactly just regular. You're not selling.
The health department oversees. That's the regulatory agency that comes in, that does their inspections.
They don't have any other higher restrictions on them
other than the
according
state.
to agriculture.
No, they have a state.
To be able
Are
to
you full?
grow it, there's a big process. I looked at the application, and that's why I think that the state, the county, whatever, needs to make that where that doesn't happen, that a big company can come in and buy these people. They have to have a license for 30 years to be able to get it. How does that make it
that's
easy?
That's different than if you're going to grow sunflower seeds. Sunflowers.
Yeah, well, when they started this whole thing in Florida, that was one of the rules. You had to be in the business for X number of years.
And you had to put down so much money.
But
and
no,
all
it
this
But
happened.
then
It's
how
like all
was
the
somebody else
growers that
able to
were-
walk in and buy it from them?
Because they give all their license.
Well, and the state then adopted another rule where they said it's okay to sell to another company, and they passed another law that said you could do it, but they
Because
said
of
that other company
lobbyists.
has to prove to the Department of Health, that they have basically comparable qualifications, comparable experience, so they made it so it couldn't just be anybody, any company. I mean, whoever came in and purchased a license had to prove to the
They had
health
to know how to grow
department.
marijuana.
So this company we know they're in Arizona, and I've seen, if you go on their website, you should be able to see what their facilities look like.
And it's there on their facilities.
Calls it a
And
factory.
they're on a factory.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, and I've been trying to get a meeting with our legislators from our area, Senator Baxley and Representative Sullivan. They're in session, they're almost done, so that's been the problem, but I conveyed what the issue was. But, they're just,
But how
big group.
long have they been in session? Because I've already sent them an email. I sent the governor an email not long after I sent you one. I've got no reply from them.
Well, but keep in mind, when they do their laws, they have to get their bills in, like when they start the session, and they don't really introduce bills like later in session. So we're kind of like, we need to make sure that we get to them before the next round.
Right,
They would need to introduce it in the next.
How about I
legislative
just
session.
response that Ms. Miller? I did get your email. No reply. No nothing.
Yeah, well, you can be mad about that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They should some kind of response saying they got my email.
They told me that someone would be getting with me,
Yeah.
And
But you haven't heard from them? No. Well, and that could be an after-hour know, it just doesn't sound like other places in the state are having the same problem. Because I think what's happened is their facilities are in places that are already either, you know, a whole lot of greenhouses, like the one that's over on Brent Road. It's pretty much surrounded by other big greenhouses.
But there's no noise over there, though.
Yeah, well, I guess they've got everything.
No,
I don't
they're
know.
not. They're not running this kind of
well,
equipment.
and maybe these guys think that this is the state of the art. You know, this,
I've been by there
these
10
particular
times.
conditions is,
There's
you know,
no noise over there.
yeah.
Well, the big thing is blatant disregard for their neighbors.
Yeah,
exactly.
They say they are, but they're really not.
They're not.
Not to lie within the last 2 or 3 weeks saying that's going to be a parking lot, and then they've got building sites or whatever you call
Yeah,
it.
but
They had to,
the strategy behind the lies is to buy time.
Exactly.
Because the longer you can keep this in place and keep it going, the less chance you have of
stopping it.
doing
And
any
that's
type
why,
of change.
That's why we were even being, you know, casual with them because, oh, we're going to get that fixed. And then we found out, oh, they get one deadline. He's calling Ted every week, giving him an update. Okay, that's a lie. That didn't work.
Also,
that's what worries me about building on that other 5 acres.
I know. They're going to make us
happen.
happy.
It's going to be too late. And
exactly.
Our property is our retirement.
Exactly.
That's, you know, if we lose, we finally got back up to where it's worth what we paid for it.
Right.
You know, and now we're going to lose all that. You know, that's.
Also, they told one of the newspaper people that they were just being nice by trying to get the noise down for us. That it could be up to 90 decibels, and there wasn't nothing that they could do to stop it.
That's
Which I think is crazy.
Well, that is crazy because we know that. I mean, even under our
ordinance.
ordinance,
They see right now that they don't have to do anything. They're
that's clearly
they get to hide under that law and do whatever they want.
You know, we could get them.
So far, what I see is they're putting more. I think that cash flow problem.
Well, the fact is that none of them that work over there live here. None of them live. None of them are trying to crash the party tonight and say y'all are wrong. You got us all wrong. The owners, all the people that work through there, the manager that kindly walked you through and said, "Oh, we're gonna build over there. We're gonna take these out of here. You'll never hear us again. A year from now, you'll never know we were here." It's all lip service because they've told everybody something different. Every time you talk to somebody, they're telling them something different. So it's lip service. It's to us. It's just lip service.
That's fine. I used to live there.
If you get the opportunity to have that conversation with one of those folks, they're not going to talk to us. But if you get the opportunity, I'd appreciate it if you'd let them know that some of us don't appreciate lip service. We'd rather be straight up. Even if I don't like what you got to say, straight up. Just come right on out and tell me that you don't plan on doing a damn thing about it.
Exactly.
And then at least we'll know where we stand. But to tell us that we'll take care of, we'll take this, we'll do this, we'll do that. It's just lip service. And what's going to happen is now the people that are sitting around here don't know whether to sell or not. We got retired folks fixing to retire. I don't know that I want to put another $500,000 in something or $250,000 in my place and not know what it's going to look like. Not know what they're going to move and move and move, and now they're right beside me, and we're going to listen to that. If they could assure Ted, if they could assure us that right there was actually going to go away, we could probably work something out. We could live with, you know what, if you could guarantee me that sound's not going to be here next year, we could probably live with that. Because as it sounds, we don't have a whole lot of choice but to learn to live with that for a while.
Let me work on that. I think that's a good message to take back. I mean, what I've tried to do is, when I went over there, I went into it very skeptical because I had heard this side of it. I listened and I've tried to keep the lines of communication open with them. But I think that what you're saying is very valid, that you need to know what the truth is. Don't just string you along and tell you stuff. If it's not going to you know, be internalized and they're going to put everything in there and abandon this, then at least let you know so you know how to plan accordingly. I think that's...
But they're not going to do that. It's like he said. They're trying to make the time stretch out so that they can get what they want. I mean, if they tell us...
cards in there, I mean, they have all the leverage. I mean, they have...
They have all the power.
But that's what I'm saying. We can't trust what they're going to say anyway, because if they tell us the truth, it's going to get worse. What are we going to do? We're going to get more active. They don't want us to get more active.
Well, I would think though that you would rather play nice with your neighbors than not. I would think.
They would like to chase us all out and buy all our properties for $100,000.
Yeah.
Is what they'd like to do.
I would think though at some point that they're going to understand that every redneck that lives 30 minutes from here's got a damn deer rifle. Every one of them cameras right there is, you know, I mean, I'm just saying.
Don't say that.
No, what I'm saying is the madder people get, they do stupid stuff.
Right.
And what they don't want is for all that stuff to keep getting worse and keep getting worse and keep getting worse.
Well,
it's in their best interest if they just get real with everybody here and say, this is what my plans are. We know they got millions of dollars and they're planning on making millions of dollars over there. Nobody standing here is stupid enough to think that that's not the fact. But if they just get real and figure out, is there any way for us to meet in the middle? Is there any way for us to get to where we can live and get along? You know, who knows?
So a couple weeks ago, they sent an email to me from their lawyer, and it listed like 8 things and said when they were going to get them completed. And so that is kind of a good thing for me to be able to use to...
That's public record, right?
It's public record. I'll forward it to you. And they gave me the deadlines. I think the first one was going to be May 1st, and then they had several things that happened as of, I think it was June 1st, and then they would be done with like these 8 things that were supposed to help mitigate. So we'll use that as a basis to say, okay, you made this representation, you made it to me, you know, and you said you're going to hit these deadlines.
That's what we need.
And let's see if they keep their word on that. And I think I can have a good, frank discussion with them. You know, and I said, you know, they kind of have all the cards, they have all the power, so to speak. But I think that I don't think that you're not without a voice here. I think that there are definitely things that we can work on. And we're going to work on these ordinance changes and see if we can get those through. And we're going to take a look at the road and see where that's at and how far that right-of-way goes and just the status of that to know whether that could in fact be a sort of a physical barrier to going any further to the south. It ends at the corner of the Pine Forest. What's that?
It ends at the corner of the Pine Forest.
Okay, well we're gonna
lots over.
Okay, we'll just confirm and make sure. I'm also going to get those plans to see exactly what they've got laid out, what they're showing from the standpoint of the dehumidifiers and the equipment, to see whether in fact, you know, that's what they're putting in that facility, so we can verify that. So we'll work on these things, and then I'll communicate with you, and then you'll get the word out to everybody.
I post anything they give me.
Yes, and it's real easy because you can just go on the website.
I'll find them and I'll post them on the website, and Jeannie can email them all to anybody that gave our emails or whatever.
Because we're not allowed to talk to one another, the commissioners, because of the Sunshine Law. So the only way, unless it comes up in a meeting, the best way to communicate is for you.
I had no clue.
Yeah, I can't see Commissioner Sullivan and say, hey, you need to go out there and listen to that, you know?
Okay.
Unless
all right, well, you know what, folks, what we got to do tomorrow?
In a public meeting.
We got to start sending an email to everyone and ask them to come out and hear this for themselves.
And be nice.
Yes, and be nice.
But you know what, Vicki? There's a lot of people that live out here that don't even realize what's going on. Maybe we need to get flyers, and maybe we can all start trying to hit doors in neighborhoods and put flyers in their doors. On the cars,
cross ties. She
public
mentioned
shopping center. Yeah,
No,
cross ties. It's going to affect
It's a
cross
big property.
ties, and these people don't even have any idea that's going on.
Yeah, a lot of people don't understand out here though. Is, you know, they think, okay, these neighbors just complaining about this noise. They just, but they don't realize this can affect everybody in Lake County, Orange County, and everywhere else.
Well, it is.
Industrial noise.
It's happening in Tavares.
In other words, just make them, wake them up and they're going, what?
I mean, Annette Con here, you heard the noise, but you didn't know where it was coming from, right?
I didn't. I'd take my dog out 2 or 3 times in the night, and I was like, what? First time I thought it was something with the fire station. Like they had come in from a run and they were doing whatever. And then I realized what it was. And it could be 2 or 3 in the morning, and it's louder than this.
Yes, I was out at 3 o'clock in the morning the other night, and I had to call her to the house, and I said, what is the noise that I hear out here? She goes, and I go, kidding.
You say the state regulates everything, but yet the county commissioners here can adjust their regulation.
Well, we're going to try. They're going to try to amend it
and put it into place and see whether it was.
But doesn't mean that now that, since they've already done that, that it'll be able to affect them, is what she's saying.
They should
How
be able
about
to
grandfathering
regulate
in all of us that have been here forever?
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing we're going to do. We are going to work on our noise ordinance.
Because I know when I was building homes, they were on my honey all the time.
Well, they have rules about like how soon they can bring the concrete trucks in.
Everything works as the ordinance, somebody out here. But what I'm saying is, that is the case. There's no reason that they should not be able to put something on there.
Dangerous to move to Lake County. Next to land that can be developed. Oh, I'm going to tell you, there's a big new kerfuffle over the city of Tavares. It's happening starting at the P&Z meeting this
Even though it is,
on the 18th.
I don't see how you can say it's grandfathered.
I don't know how many members they have. They got 20 on their email list. The Lake Saunders issue. And I'm going to be there. Let's see, there's the, I just made a video on using that as an example of all the problems that neighbors have.
We're going to give it a try, and don't be surprised that when we do that ordinance, it's going to apply to any kind of ag that includes production.
Go ahead and steal it.
Because we don't want to.
No, don't discriminate.
Right, you can't single anything out. That's correct.
And state parks don't allow you to run, when you're camping in a state park, they don't allow you to run your generator in a camper past 10 o'clock at night, and that's as loud as any generator.
Good point.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's louder.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Also, too, Leslie, I want you to look on your agenda that they give you, and I want you to see if that wood fence right there on one of them. They said they were going to get done.
Okay, we'll look at it.
Because they told me that they were going to get that wood fence done. They were going to put up a 12-foot fence behind where all the machinery is, behind the building over there.
They told me that would be
They told me it was going to be a vinyl or some kind of
a buffer wall,
buffer thing, but they didn't tell me it was going to be a wall. They said it was going to be a fence, and they told me it was going to be 12 foot. And I know as good as everybody here knows that wood fence there ain't going to stop crap when them 10 units crank up over there. And all that's stopping is the media from coming out here and shining their camera in there and seeing their equipment. And the same thing at the back. They put up a 12-foot fence back there. It's not going to stop nothing back there.
I can bring
Anything is going to push the noise back up this way.
You got a ladder over there.
Well, Ted put that there just to aggravate them because we can.
Put a fake camera up there.
Oh, they knocked it down 3 times, and then I told them, I said, if you touch my ladder again,
oh, did
I'm
they?
going to call the cops and have you arrested for messing my property.
He did it. He said his house at every ladder.
Knocked down his ladder that he put up on this side of the fence.
I backed the truck right up to the back, to the fence, and they climb up on top and climb over. I don't care.
It just doesn't serve their purpose not to get along.
I would
It
agree.
really
That's
doesn't.
what, I mean,
It
I
doesn't serve their
honestly
purpose
was
not
very
to work with us.
surprised that.
And I want to say Bob over there, he's really a nice guy. He's just doing his job. He's trying to
He's got
keep
a
his
job to do,
job.
and he's trying to get it done.
And I get it. I'm not against anybody working because I'm telling you what, I'm a working person. I work 6 days a week, and I don't like my taxes paid for lazy people. So if they all got a job, I'm all for it. It's not about anybody losing their jobs. I just want them to make the noise go away.
And fix the roads if there's going to be 100 people going in and out of here.
Yeah.
You know, this road
They've already
stinks.
got the 5 acres over there, temporary. Make it where the semis come in over that way so
Yeah.
there's not a problem, where they don't have to back in.
When they took that place over, there was 13 employees over there.
Yeah.
He told me they got between 50 and 60 now. He said within the next month or two, they'll have 150 people in there. What he told me.
And they're all making good money.
That's not normal agriculture.
I don't know, how many
That's
do they
what
have over at John's?
I want to have
Yeah, but
somebody
look how much
Yeah,
define
that's 72 acres.
who is the person that
72
define
acres.
Yeah.
define
72
normal
acres,
agriculture?
that's a lot of difference.
I know we know what it is, but
You don't even
there's
operate.
Yeah, I
Feels
know.
like.
Okay.
Leslie, thank you for coming.
Really
Yes,
appreciate
thank you.
it.
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna make some progress.